Many people would say the biggest living things on Earth are blue whales. Those people would be wrong. Today we'll be taking a look at the top 15 actual biggest living things on Earth. Number 15. Biggest virus, the pythovirus, 1.5 micrometers long. We can quibble about whether or not viruses are really living organisms. Some biologists say yes, some aren't so sure, but there's no question that the pythovirus is a true giant. 50% bigger than the previous record holder, Pandorovirus. And at 1.5 millionths of a meter, slightly larger than the smallest identified eukaryotic cell. You might think a pathogen as big as the pythovirus would make a habit of infecting elephants, hippopotamuses, or even human beings. But don't worry, it actually preys on amoebas, only a little bigger than itself. An ancient virus, the pythovirus was found in the Siberian tundra after sitting dormant for 30,000 years. It was found frozen in a deep layer of the Siberian permafrost, but after it thawed, it became infectious once again. The contagion poses no danger to humans or animals, but other viruses could be unleashed as the ground becomes exposed. We're happy to announce today's video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. This free-to-play battle RPG strategy game has taken the world by storm with its unique but highly addictive gameplay. You must build a powerful team of champions and battle through a variety of bosses and challenges. Each champion you select has unique abilities and traits, like our favorite champion, Altin the Barbarian, who is able to resurrect a friendly champion whenever he kills an enemy. What we like most about this game is how it rewards creativity. There are all sorts of ways your champions can synergize together and create a powerful and formidable force. Now is the best time to start playing Raid Shadow Legends, whether you're a mobile or desktop player. This month, they released their biggest ever update, featuring 12 new bosses and 14 new champions. The recently released Doom Tower update gives players access to 120 new floors and numerous secret challenge rooms to battle through. If you want to get a huge head start in Raid, all you have to do is hit the link in the description. And if you're a new player, you'll get your free Void Champion Bulwark, 50 gems, an XP booster, some energy refills, and even an ancient shard as soon as you get in-game. All this treasure will be waiting for you here, available to all new players for the next 30 days. Hit the link in the description. And thanks again to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring today's video. Number 14. Biggest bacterium, Thiomargarita, 0.5 millimeters wide. It sounds like a mixed drink, but Thiomargarita is actually Greek for sulfur pearl, a reference to the granules of sulfur incorporated in this bacterium's cytoplasm, which give it a lustrous appearance, and the fact that the roundish Thiomargarita tends to link up in long pearl-like chains as it divides. Completely harmless to humans and other animals, it's a lithotroph, meaning it subsists on inert chemicals on the ocean floor. The half-millimeter wide Thiomargarita may be the world's only bacterium that's visible to the naked eye. Number 13. Biggest amoeba, the giant amoeba, 3 millimeters long. You can't beat the genus name attached to this giant amoeba, Chaos, which presumably refer to this single-celled organism's constant undulations, as well as the fact that it harbors literally hundreds of separate nuclei in its cytoplasm. While falling well short of the monstrous amoebas that populate comic books and science fiction movies, at up to 3 millimeters long, the giant amoeba is not only visible to the naked eye, but capable of slowly engulfing and digesting smaller multicellular organisms, in addition to its usual diet of bacteria and protists. Number 12. Biggest insect, the Goliath beetle, 3 to 4 ounces. The appropriately named Goliath beetle, genus name Goliathus, is never seen in the wild outside of the tropical forests of Africa, which is a good thing, since this insect weighs as much as a full-grown gerbil. However, there's a big asterisk attached to the Goliath beetle's world biggest bug title. This insect is twice as large as a larva than it is as a full-grown adult. If you're feeling adventurous, you can raise your very own Goliath beetle. Experts advise, seriously, a diet of packed dog food or cat food. Either wet or dry will do just fine. Let's jump up the scale a bit. Number 11. The corpse flower, 3 feet. Shakespeare may have noted that a rose by any other name would smell as sweet, but he had presumably never met a corpse flower. Also known as Rafflesia arnoldii, the poetically named posy boasts the largest bloom in the world, measuring in it 3 feet wide with blossoms that weigh 15 pounds. Just to prove that nature has a sense of humor, it reeks none of the perfumed attar of the rose or the heady scent of jasmine, but of rotting flesh. Sweet. But it does so to attract the insects that pollinate the plant, so all is just as it should be. The plant relies on carrion beetles and flies for pollination, which means that the smell and look of the flower isn't as sweet as a normal flower. Instead, the bloom is blood red to simulate exposed flesh, and the aroma resembles rotting meat. Dung beetles, flesh flies, and other carnivorous insects are the primary pollinators of this type of flower. These insects typically eat dead flesh. The smell and the dark burgundy color of the corpse flower are meant to imitate a dead animal to attract these insects. Number 10. Giraffe, 19 feet. At once gawky and elegant, the incredible giraffe, Giraffa camelopardalis, earns the distinction of being the world's tallest mammal, thanks to a combination of lanky legs and that famously long neck. The legs of these seven-toed ungulates, the largest of the ruminants, are taller than many people. Giraffes can grow to heights of 19 feet and can weigh as much as 2,800 pounds. Yet despite all that mass, they can sprint up to a speedy 35 miles an hour over short distances and trot comfortably at 10 miles an hour when covering longer stretches. Giraffes have adapted to graze leaves and fruit from trees. When the length of their necks are combined with their 20-inch long tongues, they can reach vegetation otherwise reserved for only birds. Number 9. Elephant, up to 24 feet long and 13 feet high. The African bush elephant, Loxodonta africana, holds the title for the largest land animal, reaching extraordinary lengths of up to 24 feet and gaining heights of 13 feet. These beautiful gray beasts weigh in at 11 tons. Their trunks alone can lift objects of more than 400 pounds. Living in African habitats from open savanna to the desert and high rainforest, African bush elephants are herbivores and require upwards of 350 pounds of vegetation daily for sustenance. How about another record they break? They endure the longest period of pregnancy. Females give birth to a lone calf after 22 months of gestation. Because of habitat destruction and poaching for ivory, these noble creatures are considered highly threatened. Number 8. Reticulated python, 26 feet. Out of 41 species, the reticulated python is the longest python and snake on record. The longest known reticulated python measured 26.2 feet long, longer than 5 grand pianos lined up. It was found at a construction site in Malaysia in April 2016 and died shortly after its capture, Live Science previously reported. That Malaysian snake was longer than Medusa, the longest captive snake in the world, which measured in at 25.1 feet, according to Guinness World Records. The natural diet of small reticulated pythons are mainly rodents, while the larger mainland rectics feed on pigs, civets, bear cats, and even primates. After mating, the female lays 25 to 80 eggs, which weigh over 250 grams. The mother python will sit on the eggs and shiver, which helps to warm them up. They're incubated at between 31 and 32 degrees Celsius, or about 88 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. After 88 days, they will hatch. The young already measure 61 centimeters or 2 feet in length when they hatch. Number 7. Colossal squid, 30 feet. In terms of creatures without backbones, the aptly named colossal squid, or Mesonychoteuthis hamiltoni, has all others beat when it comes to its size. The world's largest squid species and the largest invertebrate on the planet, they can weigh as much as 1,000 pounds and can grow to 30 feet long. Yes, that's a 30-foot-long squid, replete with a killer beak, sucker-dressed tentacles, and arms with razor claws. But in truth, the research is finding that these fearsome-seeming creatures are really just kind of gentle floating giants, sluggish, gelatinous drifters, as National Geographic calls them. That said, they retain no shortage of mystery. They live in the icy Antarctic waters 6,500 feet beneath the surface and have never been observed in the wild. Number 6. Whale shark, 40 feet. The largest fish is the whale shark, Rhincodon typus, which can reach up to 40 feet long. The colossal fish weighs about 20 tons, about the weight of 2 school buses. These filter feeders live in tropical waters in the Atlantic Ocean and Indo-Pacific. However, the gentle giants are often caught by fisheries, tangled in nets as baycatch or struck by marine vessels. The IUCN lists the fish as endangered. Whale sharks have about 3,000 tiny teeth, less than 1 inch long, but they don't use their teeth to eat. They reach sexual maturity at around 30 years. The eggs of a whale shark remain in the body and the females give birth to live young, which are 16 to 24 inches long. There is some evidence that suggests the pups are not all born at once, but rather over a prolonged period. They reach sexual maturity at around 30 years, and their lifespan is an estimated 70 to 100 years. Number 5. Sauropods, up to 85 feet long. The largest dinosaurs of the era were the sauropods, a collection of four-legged herbivore species that possessed long necks and tails. A sauropod subgroup called the Titanosauria contained the largest sauropods. Titanosaurs lived at the end of Earth's Cretaceous period, about 145 to 66 million years ago, and titanosaur fossils have been found on every continent. Sadly, these lumbering leviathans died out at the end of the Cretaceous. One of the largest titanosaurs, possibly the largest according to some sources, was Dreadnoughtus. It had a total length of roughly 26 meters, about 85 feet, and an estimated mass of about 65 tons. Dreadnoughtus is known from rock deposits of southern Patagonia, Argentina, that date to about 77 million years ago. There is only one known species, D. schranni. Number 4. Blue whales, up to 100 feet long. Perhaps the most superlative of all, the blue whale, Balaenoptera musculus. When a baby blue whale is born, it measures up to 25 feet in length and weighs up to 3 tons. And then it gains about 200 pounds a day for the first year. That's big. The biggest animal, in fact, known to live on Earth. Growing to lengths of up to 100 feet and weighing up to 200 tons, the tongue of these giant beauties can weigh as much as an elephant, and their hearts as much as a car. They are so loud that their calls can be heard by one another from thousands of miles away. The spray from their blowhole can reach 30 feet into the air. In the beginning of the 20th century, the whaling industry set its sight on these leviathans. A single blue whale could bring in up to 120 barrels of oil. Hunting peaked in 1931, when over 29,000 were killed in one season, after which the whales were so few in number that whalers turned to other species. Not until 1966 did the International Whaling Commission ban the hunting of blue whales. Before whaling, there were over 350,000 of them. Up to 99% of them were killed during the frenzy. Recovery has been slow. As of now, there are around 5,000 to 10,000 blue whales in the southern hemisphere, and an estimated 3,000 to 4,000 in the northern hemisphere. Number 3. Sequoia trees, up to 275 feet long. By volume, the sequoia trees are the biggest living things on the planet Earth. They can grow up as tall as 275 feet and 26 feet in diameter. General Sherman is a giant sequoia, or Sequoiadendron giganteum, located in the giant forest of Sequoia National Park in Tulare County, in the U.S. state of California. By volume, it's the largest known living single-stem tree on Earth. While General Sherman is the largest currently living tree, it is not the largest historically recorded tree. The Crannel Creek Giant, a coast redwood near Trinidad, California, is estimated to have been 15 to 25% larger than General Sherman tree by volume. That tree was cut down in the mid-1940s. Another larger coast redwood, the Lindsay Creek tree, with more than 90,000 cubic feet, or 2,500 cubic meters, was reportedly felled by a storm in 1905, according to Humboldt Times Standard article. General Sherman is estimated to be around 2,300 to 2,700 years old. Number 2. Honey fungus colonies, miles. The parasitic and apparently tasty honey fungus not only divides opinions, it also is widely seen as the largest living organism on Earth. More precisely, a specific honey fungus measuring 2.4 miles across in the Blue Mountains in Oregon is thought to be the largest living organism on Earth. Several species of fungi belong to the Armillaria genus, which is popularly known as honey fungus. They colonize and kill a variety of trees and woody plants. The large clumps of yellow-brown mushrooms that appear above ground are the fruiting bodies of much larger organisms. They consist mainly of black bootlace-like rhizomorphs that spread out below the surface in search of new hosts, and underground networks of tubular filaments called mycelia. In 1998, a team from the U.S. Forest Service set out to investigate the cause of large tree die-offs in the Malheur National Forest in East Oregon. They identified affected areas in aerial photographs and collected root samples from 112 dead and dying trees, mostly firs. Tests showed all but 4 of the trees had been infected with the honey fungus. The most widely spaced were 2.4 miles apart. The team calculated that the A. Callipydes covered an area of 3.7 square miles and was somewhere between 1,900 and 8,600 years old. Number 1. Pando, 108 acres. In Utah's Fish Lake National Forest, there lives a massive grove of trees called Pando, which is actually a single colony of a male quaking aspen, Populus tremoloides. Nicknamed the Trembling Giant, this enormous root system comprises 47,000 stems that create the grove. Altogether, with all of the individual trunks, branches, and leaves, this quivering organism weighs in at an estimated 6,600 short tons. It is the heaviest known organism on the planet, and perhaps even more impressive is its age. Conservative estimates put it at 80,000 years old, making it the oldest living thing known to man. There are about 47,000 quaking aspen stems. The older stems are almost all between 110 and 130 years old, which is about the typical lifespan of the individual quaking aspen stems. And quaking aspens are among the most peculiar of trees. They usually reproduce asexually from an underground root system. Each stem belongs to that single root system, and aspen groves are rarely made up of genetic individuals. It's not clear why and how this specific grove of quaking aspens grew to be so large. Watch our nature playlist for more top 15 videos about beautiful nature. Sit back, relax, and binge watch all of our best nature videos.